and welcome to the Saturday, October 18th, 2014 TV Toastmasters meeting. We have a great meeting in store for you today. I'm Steve Ehrenholtz. I'm the president of TV Toastmasters. I think you will really enjoy our program that we're going to hear today. We have 3 speakers. We have our table topics, which is impromptu speaking. We'll have an evaluation of the meeting and our prepared speeches. We have a great Toastmaster who's going to be running today's meeting. I'd like you to help me welcome Michelle Lewis, competent communicator and competent leader, who will be our Toastmaster for today. Michelle?
Thank you, Steve. Happy Sweetest Day! For those of you who forgot, I did until I went to Kroger this morning. Just a little hint, so when you get home you can mention that. But thank you, Steve, and welcome to our meeting today. Those looking in at home, you can find out more about our club at tvtoastmasters.com. Always welcome to join us. We also have some guests in the audience today, so I would like to welcome Mindy Mossman, Joel Hall, and Sarah Nugent. Thank you for coming today. As Steve mentioned, we have an exciting meeting in store. It's going to be jam-packed with a lot of fun, so we hope you enjoy. But first and foremost, I would like to welcome BJ Harris. BJ will be giving the word of the day, which is, she will challenge you to use this word throughout your speaking opportunities. And BJ will also be our timer today. So BJ Harris.
Thank you, Michelle. Toastmasters, guests, viewing audience, let me offer this. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, and kindness in your smile. Now, Mother Teresa said those words. So today, I challenge you to use the word kindness in your table topics response, and in your speeches, and even in your evaluations. Just use the word kindness. It is a noun. Kindness is the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate, a kind act. It is a kindness I shall never forget. So that you do not forget it, the word kindness is right up here, and I look forward to hearing you use that. I will be watching and listening for you to use that word today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, BJ. Sweetest Day, kindness, they go hand in hand. Great opportunity to use that word and those actions today. So the next part of our meeting, as Steve mentioned, we do impromptu speaking. This is an opportunity to put you in the hot seat and to help prepare you when you get those questions from your boss, from somebody at work that you want to share your ideas with. This gives you an opportunity to practice those types of challenges. So today our topics master is Melanie Jones-Gant. Melanie?
As Michelle mentioned, this is an impromptu speech, and this time of year, for me anyway, it's always about fall and Halloween and scary things. So table topics is going to be about scary things and childhood memories that go along with them. The first question, Sarah, we all have memories of our childhood where we got a good thrill of being scared. What's one of your favorite memories where you got scared in a good way? Sarah?
Thank you.
I am so old, so I have to reach in the back of my head to try to remember the scariest Halloween time. I guess when I was in 6th grade, I went to a haunted house and I walked through the maze of the haunted house. I was okay, and several steps, a clown would jump out and I would scream. But then I talk myself out of fear, and then I would walk a little more, and more scary stuff would come down from the ceiling or the sides or so forth like that. And I remember like a ghost coming out and just jump right out and scare the heck out of me. And he wouldn't let me go. He keep on touching me. And so I would have to say that that was the scariest time for me, Halloween back in 6th grade.
Sarah. Mindy, the other thing that we know about Halloween or fall is lots of candy. So my question is, what is your favorite type of candy, or what is your favorite type of junk food for this time of year?
Well, I consider this table topic a real kindness to me because I love chocolate. And as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to candy, the only one that really matters is chocolate. I like all kinds of chocolate. I like milk chocolate, I like dark chocolate. But my very favorite is Lindt chocolate, which is from Switzerland. And whenever my husband travels to Italy, to Como, which is just south of Switzerland, he always comes home with a big supply of Lindt chocolate. And I always feel sad when I say goodbye to him for one of his 2-week trips to Italy. But deep inside, there's this sweet happiness that he will show me the kindness of bringing home a big batch of chocolate.
Thank you, Mindy. Steve. Now, I know you have 2 dogs, so I'm changing this table topics a little. Have you ever dressed up your dogs in Halloween costumes to match you? And if not, if you could, what would you dress your dogs up as?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. Well, you're asking about Sprout and Tater. First of all, Sprout and Tater don't do real good wearing clothes. We try to put things on them when it's really cold outside. We have little coats and sweatshirts. They tend to try pulling them off. If you've never seen a dog do somersaults, that's what it looks like, because they're trying to grab it and pull, but they're also wearing it. If I could get them to wear a costume, I think that I would probably put a bandana around their collars. We have a few other things that we've gotten through the years that they find equally disagreeable. We've got a set of reindeer antlers that we could put on them, but once they shake their head, it's gone. They do like Halloween because what other night of the year do you have all these people that come to see you? I mean, isn't that why they're coming around the neighborhood? We have to keep them under control, or else their enthusiasm will just plow everybody over, even though they only weigh 15 and 22 pounds. But Tater and Sprout do like Halloween. They're not much on wearing clothes. We were at a place recently that had all kinds of little dog dresses and everything else, and we like our dogs, but there's a certain amount of stuff we buy for them that never pans out. And out of kindness to them, we don't subject them to too many attempts to entertain us more than they already do. Madam Table Topics Master.
And that adjourns table topics. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Melanie, for showing us kindness with your questions. Those were fun, holiday-related questions and didn't make anybody sweat or getting too nervous because they were very kind questions. We're now going to transition into our prepared speeches for today. We have 3 very exciting speeches today. We have 2 of our most seasoned members speaking, as well as our newest member who just joined today, so great excitement in store. Our first speaker is Carol Cormelink, DTM Cubed. Carol is the heart of our club, and she will be speaking today out of her Competent Communicator Manual, number 10, Inspire Your Audience. The relationship with respect, number 2, is her speech title. Do you respect other people's opinions or only your own? If you interact with another person, it is important to respect their opinion, no matter how diverse from your own. Our next speaker, Carol, will cover the 4 elements of any interaction with another and the importance of respect. Let us give a hearty welcome to Carol Cormelink, Relationships with Respect. Relationship with Respect, Carol Cormelink.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and our most welcome guest. Do you believe that anyone else's opinion besides yours is okay? Or do you only listen to yours, that you think, they don't know what they're talking about, and you tune out? I have a saying that if you're tuning out because you think you already know what a person is going to say, listen anyway, because if you've heard it before, have you implemented it? Have you mastered it? So don't think that you know more than the other person. There are 4 building blocks of any relationship. The first is respect. The second is understanding. The third is love. And the 4th is trust. Respect. That is the most necessary. It's the hardest one to honor a lot of times. And I know that when you respect, when you have more facts, you have knowledge, then you are more kind to a person. I know that sometimes my friends would let me know, Carol, did you know you had an edge in your voice when you talked to your husband? Well, I didn't know it, but I listened to her talk to her husband, so then I found out, yes, I did too. You bark commands. You don't say, would you please close the door? Close the door. You don't ask, would you help me do something? I need your help over here. You aren't using kindness with that person when you're respecting them and honoring them. If you see a young person driving down the road fast, recklessly, and you think, oh, those kids, they just don't know anything. He's driving so reckless. Well, if you had some respect and knew some more information for that person and had some understanding, you might know that he got word that his mother is on her dying bed. He wants to get to the hospital before she dies, and that's why he's driving recklessly. Now you have a different opinion of that person because you have some understanding of why he was careless in his driving. He wanted to get there before his mother died. And knowledge changes your thinking a lot of times, and it takes the longest to develop is the understanding of a situation. You don't want to mock, ridicule, or correct a person in public. And I don't know if it's mocking or ridiculing, but my friend's husband, I thought he was a tightwad because he was very stingy with his money. And we were at a party one time, and the game that we played, he went down to his basement and got some canned goods. We were to guess the price that he paid for them. So if it was $1, he paid 30 cents for it. And I said, oh, Earl, you're such a tightwad. He straightened up, looked me straight in the eye, and very quietly said, thrifty, Carol, thrifty. I had so much respect for him, and now I try to say, he's thrifty. which sounds a lot nicer than saying, he's such a tightwad. And then ridicule. I had told my sister one time, I don't know what we were talking about, our husbands, and I said, oh, Joe couldn't even boil water. And she said, you made him sound like he was a complete idiot, that he had no ability to do that. That was not what I intended at all. My husband could do anything. He could make anything, do anything that he wanted to do. I never had a squeaky door or a leaky faucet. I've told you that many times before. And when he bought the Viking Husqvarna for me, he loved things that were well made. When he bought the Viking Husqvarna sewing machine, he sat down and made our son a little outfit, a little suit of clothes. And so he could do anything he wanted. And what I was coming from is that he had German background, men's work, women's work, never the twain shall meet. It was women's work to do the cooking, so he wouldn't even heat water in the microwave. He could do it if he wanted to, but he didn't have to because that was woman's work, and never the twain shall meet. So sometimes we mock, ridicule, make fun of someone when we don't really intend to. And if we speak with love, that's the most enduring. And sometimes when you're talking with your spouse and you think something's the matter, you say, oh, what's the matter? Nothing. You give them the cold shoulder. Well, if they say nothing, you know something is the matter, and then you better find out what it is that's bothering them, and don't be too quizzical. And love. You've been married. I heard a guy they interviewed the other day, he's been married 60 years. And he said, that's so unusual. What is the secret to your success? 2 words. Yes, dear. So the wife always has the last word because whatever she says is the beginning of another argument. So just remember, yes, dear. Mindy's my niece, but I have 3 or 4 nieces that I talk about all the time. And my one niece, she and her husband, they have their date night. They go out and do things for them. And then when they're watching the movies, they're sitting on their lounge or sofa, and they hold hands while they're doing the movies. They give each other massages, and rub their feet in. And I'm going, yeah, who wants to do their feet? So, but they keep that spark of love. And when I was at GE back in the 50s, the lady that one of my coworkers had been married for 12 years, and her husband also worked at GE. And when he walked into the cafeteria, she blushed just like she had just met him. She was still so madly in love with her husband. And I thought that was a really neat thing to do, that he still turned her on, even when he just walked into the cafeteria. And the 4th building block is trust, and that is the most fragile. When you lose your trust in them, it's very hard to restore that. You may forgive, but you don't forget. It may not hurt when you think about it. It may not feel like a knife stabbing your heart. It may be as if you said, well, it rained today. But sometimes it isn't safe to restore the relationship as it was. And no matter how much you've forgiven, when you break a bone, there's still that crack in the bone. It mends and it functions, but when they x-ray you years later, they still know that you broke that bone years and years ago. And another part of trust where we don't pay attention in trusting, we make decisions on our own. We don't trust our spouse to add anything. It's as if you think, well, they don't know anything about it. I know everything, so I will do it. And making decisions on your own, Dave Ramsey, when he does Financial Peace University, one person is the nerd. They have to count for every penny, and the other's the free spirit. He doesn't have the nerd do all the work. He has the nerd and the free spirit agree on things and compromise. And so each knows what the other is doing. I think it's a great program, and I made a lot of decisions, and my husband never wanted to do anything. He didn't want to go anyplace. He didn't want to do anything. So I would make arrangements to go places without asking him. I'm going, oh, don't you know the wife's always the social secretary? But you want to have respect, love, understanding, and trust with the person in a relationship. One of the things that I'm just learning is I'm reading John Maxwell, why questions are so important, and his whole life has been, he's what he is today because of the questions that were asked of him. And I think good leaders ask great questions. My friend and I, we tried to speak to each other and reply. If she asked me a question, I replied with a question. And we kept doing this back and forth, and I would keep losing because I'd already answered instead of asking her a question. And I always used to say that I had the answer 2 weeks before Joe got the question, which was not showing much love or respect for him. The relationship and respect for other people's opinions, love, trust, understanding, and respect. Those are the 4 founding blocks of any relationship. And then if any of them are missing, your relationship is having a little trouble. I hope that you will look at your relationships, and I didn't know that this was Sweetest Day, so I hope you will use kindness and with someone today and make it the sweetest day for them also. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Carol. What a relevant topic with the word of the day as well as Sweetest Day. So thank you very much. It was a very interesting speech, and I think we can all take a lot away from it.
All the education in the world won't help you get ahead in life if you can't express your ideas effectively. Every day, competition for advancement gets tougher and tougher. You need an edge. A Toastmasters club can give you that edge. A low-cost learning experience for men and women. Toastmasters gives you the confidence to express your ideas to anyone. Get the Toastmasters edge.
Thank you, and welcome back. We'll now be moving on to our second speaker of the day, Mr. Steve Aaronholz, with the speech, I Think I Can. Steve is giving us speech number 6 out of the Competent Communicator Manual. He'll be working on vocal variety. Our next speaker is the current club president. He is presenting a speech out of the Competent Communicator Manual, which works on using voice, volume, pitch, rate, and quality, as well as pauses, to reflect and add meaning and interest to his message. This is the 4th time Steve is going through the speeches of the basic manual. The title of Steve's speech, again, is I Think I Can. Steve Aaronholz, I Think I Can.
Good morning. How many of you have heard the story of The Little Engine That Could? This story is one of the most popular and famous illustrated children's books of all time. The best incarnation of this story appeared in a book first printed in 1930 by Platt and Monk. The author of the book, Watty Piper, was a pseudonym for Arnold Monk of Platt and Monk. The origins of the story itself are clouded in mystery and controversy. Different versions of the story have been published over the past 100 years. Signature phrases of the story, such as, I think I can, first appeared in a 1902 article within a Swedish journal. In the tale, a train must be pulled over a high mountain. Larger engines, treated anthropomorphically, which means like humans, are asked to pull the train, but for a variety of reasons decline. The request is sent to a small switch engine in a train yard. This engine agrees to try. The engine succeeds in pulling the train over the mountain, all the while repeating the motto, "I think I can. I think I can." An example in my, well, actually you might say, so what does the little engine that could have to do with Toastmasters? Actually, from my perspective, I think a lot. Toastmasters clubs provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop their speaking and leadership skills, which fosters self-confidence and personal growth. I like the continuing opportunities to grow as a speaker and a leader. Unlike those 1 or 2 day courses, I can participate in a variety of speaking roles each month. I get continuing feedback on what I do well as suggestions for things that I might want to consider changing to improve my speaking abilities. This helps build a sense of confidence and willingness to take up a variety of speaking roles. Whether it's a small group or a large group, whether it happens to be a speaking situation where you had a lot of time to prepare just the way you wanted to, or little to no preparation at all. Depends on the circumstances. One example that I have is that I'm a cantor and worship assistant in my church. Now, maybe you have an idea how hard it is to find people who are willing to cant part of the liturgy by themselves up in front of the congregation. I'm currently looking for some additional cantors because I'm assigned to cantor every other week and sometimes every week. Another example that I have that comes from my professional life occurred in June of 2010. I was sent out by my employer along with one of my colleagues as part of the Deepwater Horizon disaster response. We were assigned to travel out to the disaster site 50 miles offshore in the Gulf of Mexico to evaluate worker exposures to chemicals associated with the oil that was being released from the well into the Gulf. We were on one of the 2 rigs drilling a relief well to close off the damaged Deepwater Horizon well itself that was located 5,000 feet below the surface of the water. At a shift change briefing, I was asked to speak to an auditorium full of roustabouts, roughnecks, and rig workers, requesting their participation in our work that we were going to be doing and explain to them just what it was we were doing while we were there. Can't say I ever thought about speaking aboard a drilling rig in the Gulf of Mexico as part of a disaster response when I'm doing my Toastmaster activities. Toastmasters doesn't eliminate all of my anxieties associated with speaking, but I know that I am much better prepared for whatever comes along. Toastmasters has helped me to develop the speaking skills under a variety of situations, to give presentations to groups of all different sizes, and under a variety of conditions. Like the little engine in the railroad switching yard, Toastmasters instills confidence and a positive outlook. And, like the little engine, I can say afterwards, I knew I could. I knew I could. Madam Toastmaster?
Thank you, Steve. What a fantastic parallel. I know when I first joined Toastmasters, my motto was, I don't think I want to, and I agree. It has now become I think I can. So, fantastic speech. We'll now take a minute to allow the evaluator to prepare his evaluation.
What future do you envision for yourself? What dreams do you have? If you want your dreams to come true, you must have confidence in yourself and your abilities. A Toastmasters Club can help you build that confidence. A low-cost learning experience for men and women. Toastmasters shows you how to express yourself clearly and effectively. Make your dreams a reality. Join a Toastmasters Club.
We will now be welcoming our newest member to come up and give her speech. Emily Garrett is an Advanced Communicator Bronze, and her speech is titled, What Was on Your Report Card? From the Advanced Public Relations Manual, the Goodwill speech builds goodwill from an organization by supplying useful information of interest to the audience. The speech should favorably influence the audience by a skillful and friendly delivery of the talk. Emily Garrett, what was on your report card? Emily Garrett, what was on your report card?
Thank you. Good communication and leadership skills can make a difference in many situations. We're called upon for these skills throughout our lives as students and then again as adults in our professional careers. Do you remember having to give a book report when you were a kid, standing in front of the class? Anybody? Were you comfortable up there in front of your peers, delivering your report and being graded by the teacher? I know I wasn't. And I remember very well in the 3rd grade having to give a report on a country in South America. I remember how much all the kids dreaded getting up there and how nobody wanted to go first. But it was as though we were expected to know how to do that. We were coached on how to write the report, but they never coached us on getting up and presenting it. Picture this, little Joey's report card. Joey has difficulty organizing his thoughts and speaking in front of the class. Or this one, Susie is a natural leader. She handled her job as hall monitor well throughout the semester. Do these sound familiar? These were skills your teachers were monitoring throughout elementary school. And now they're even more important as an adult in determining advancement in your career. The first time I remember actually being coached on speaking in front of a group was in college, in speech class. The very first day, the teacher said, "This is the last class people take before they graduate because it's required and they can't graduate until they take it." And she was right. That's why we were there. We had no idea what she could teach us or how important it would be to our futures. But what if you could become good at it? What if you were so comfortable up here that you looked forward to opportunities to speak? Being able to organize your thoughts and effectively communicate can change the way you're perceived by your superiors and your associates. This is especially important for introverts like me. I am not naturally comfortable up here at all. Now, some extroverts may love getting up in front of people, but they may need to organize their thoughts, and they may need help on the mechanics of speaking. Promotions come to those who communicate well and show leadership skills. These two things are always listed somewhere in a workplace review and a resume. Why? Because they're so important to employers. But when do you get the opportunity to show that you're a leader? Opportunities seem to come to those who have already demonstrated that they are capable of a task. So how do you show your boss you're a leader? First, you need an opportunity to be a leader. One way to get this opportunity is in Toastmasters. Toastmasters has 2 tracks, leadership and communication. You can follow one or both tracks and get awards to show that you can do it. Learning to organize your thoughts and speak in front of a group successfully requires practice. Joining a club where you can get valuable supportive feedback from other members can help you, while you practice, to excel at this. Then you can use what you've learned to help other members by giving them valuable feedback and help them improve as well. There are many opportunities in organizing and running the club, planning events, and working with other members, and developing your leadership and planning skills. When you receive an award for completing a group of projects, you'll get a certificate and a letter to your employer to let them know of your achievements. There are different levels of leadership and communication in Toastmasters. Once you get started, you'll have many opportunities to develop yourself, hold officer positions, and work with members of other clubs as well. The highest award is the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. By the time you reach this level, you'll be able to show your organization that you're willing to do what it takes to succeed as a leader and a communicator. By the time you've earned this award, you will have heard many speeches on many topics, and you will have heard a lot of great ideas from other members. You will have not only developed your speaking and leadership skills, but you will have made many new friends, valuable connections in your community, and have created many fond memories. No matter where you practice your leadership and communication skills, you can be sure that these are skills that you can use every day in every area of your life. Madam Toastmaster, thank you.
Thank you, Emily. What a fantastic promotion for TV Toastmaster, or Toastmasters in general. I think a lot of us forget about the leadership track and what great value that can add to our personal and professional careers. We'll now take a minute to have the evaluator prepare her evaluation.
All the education in the world won't help you get ahead in life if you can't express your ideas effectively. Every day, competition for advancement gets tougher and tougher. You need an edge. A Toastmasters Club can give you that edge. A low-cost learning experience for men and women. Toastmasters gives you the confidence to express your ideas to anyone. Get the Toastmasters edge.
We are now going to transition into the evaluation portion of our meeting. This is a very important part of Toastmasters where our speakers obtain feedback on what they've done well and also areas of improvement. We will also have some comments about our meeting, how it ran, and areas that we can focus on. Today, Carol Cormelink will be acting as our general evaluator. I'd like to introduce Carol, and Carol will introduce her team. Carol?
And don't go too far away. In the interest of time, I will get through this quickly. As the evaluator, we come to the most important part of the meeting, is that the immediate feedback that you know what you did well and what you can do better. And my team today, we will have an evaluator for each one. I will introduce them. Michelle is my evaluator, and she will tell me what I did well, what I could do better, and my strengths.
Thank you, Carol. Your objectives today were to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement, to appeal to the audience's needs and emotions using stories, anecdotes, and quotes to add drama, and to avoid using notes. Great topic today, Carol. I really enjoyed the speech you gave. I think it was very relevant to all of us. And what I really liked about it is you started out, you asked questions, you challenged all of us to think about how we treat others in relationships. And you clearly defined your 4 elements: respect, understanding, love, and trust. You gave examples of all of these and did a really good job of even showing us how maybe you hadn't practices in your past, the edge in your voice, you bark commands. So it gave us really clear, concise examples of how you didn't show respect. I really liked your props. So you used building blocks, literally, and you stack them. So great representation of the 4 building blocks of a relationship. Really enjoyed that aspect. You gave very clear scenarios. Really liked your choice of words. Thrifty, tightwad. You're very conversational when you come up here. Very comfortable. I mean, Carol, you've been doing this for a very long time, and you just seem at ease when you're up here. And you always incorporate humor, so the yes dear is the 2 words that any man needs to know. I like how you threw that in there. As far as areas of improvement, it's pretty challenging to find things, but the one thing I did notice is at the end, you started cleaning up as you were closing your speech, and to make an impact, you probably should have waited, ended with, your challenge, your quote, and then clean up and take off. You almost seemed distracted, and you didn't really give the impact that maybe you could have if you would have given all your energy and attention to that. You, again, asked great questions. I liked your example of the book, and good leaders always ask questions. And, again, very interesting topic, I think very relevant. So thank you very much, Carol. Enjoyed it very much.
Thank you for your kindness. Our next evaluator today for Steve Ehrenholz will be Rick Davis. Rick Davis, Distinguished Toastmaster.
A senior moment. Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Steve. The project today was Project 6 on the Competent Communication Manual. Vocal variety, your objectives were use voice volume, pitch, rate, and quality to reflect and add meaning and interest to your message. Use pauses to enhance your message. Use vocal variety smoothly and naturally. I think you did a great job. With an advanced Toastmaster, it's really hard to find growth areas, but let me just say, first of all, that I think you did a great job with vocal variety. You did a great job taking your topic, which was I Think I Can, the story of the train, and you sounded like a storyteller when you started out. It just sort of drew us in. Okay, we're gonna have a story, and then you took that story and then applied it to Toastmasters and to your experience with Deepwater Horizon, which I thought would have been a very interesting experience to do just a general speech about, because I've seen some of the photos that you took, and it's pretty amazing. So growth areas. The only thing I could say is there's a couple of places where you connect your sentence together with an and you really brought the level up. You need to be a little careful there, I think. And your print, you need to be careful with banging around the print around the lectern, because the microphone does pick that sort of thing up. But I think you did a great job. It was really difficult to find something to help you with to improve your speech. I think you did a great speech, and I think everyone here listened with kindness and enjoyed your speech. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Rick. Our next evaluator for Emily will be Melanie Jones-Gant.
Emily was presenting out of the Public Relations Advanced Manual. First project, the Goodwill speech. Her objectives were prepare a talk that will build goodwill for your organization by supplying useful information of interest to the audience, favorably influence the audience by skillful and friendly delivery of your talk. I always preface whenever I evaluate a more advanced Toastmaster that I'm probably going to be a little more detailed than I would with a new member, because we have guests. I loved the topic. Presenting about Toastmasters and the positiveness that comes with it was definitely impactful in your speech. When you said you were an introvert and your organization, it was rough to even get up here, I was really impressed, because when I see someone that poised with their speaking and know that person's an introvert, I know personally how much work that takes. And I saw that impact your speech when you brought that up, talking about what Toastmasters presents to an individual. And I found that very impactful in the audience. And I think for me personally, it reminded me of the skill sets that not only you bring, but Toastmasters can bring to individuals. I think you had great poise in speaking to your audience. I think you engaged us. I think you were very natural in presenting, especially the topic. You, even though you had notes, I didn't even notice you had notes until 3/4 of the way through the speech. So you weren't even glancing down that much, so your impact on your audience was wide variety too. I think that your topic was wonderful. I think you had a little too much information. The point of the speech is to give people general information about Toastmasters and then bring it up at the end. You said yourself when we talked before the meeting. I found that when you were halfway through, though it was giving me great information as a member, it was almost too much information for a newbie, a new person. Because I think it's great to know that there's a leadership and there's a communication track and what Toastmasters brings there. But getting into things like the DTM, though they're great, is almost too much information for me, at least to communicate to people that you want to get interested in Toastmasters. The other thing that I loved your use of the different stories about the report card and then how it influences your employer. But I found a little bit of disjoint between the two, because when you brought up your employer, the transition itself wasn't as smooth as I think that it could have been. I would have advised to drop the card or brought up your own personal story so it had a little more impact on the audience to kind of flow into your own growth as a leader. Because I think, for me anyway, when you really caught me was your own personal story. So, in conclusion, I think the speech was wonderful. I think you presented well, you were impacting your audience. The only critiques I really have are more, it was almost too much information because of the goal of the speech itself. So I look so forward to hearing more about your introverted ways of getting up here and speaking, because I always find it interesting to see where other people are and how they grow. And it's a kindness always to hear anybody speak, but especially someone who has experience.
Thank you very much, and you must be in the evaluation contest in the spring.
My next speech is about how to evaluate the advanced people.
Very good. Thank you. Our next report will be from our guest today, who is a Toastmaster, and she's going to be giving us our all-counter and grammarian, Sarah Nugent. All those killer filler words we don't know we're saying. And we always clap to give them the energy to get up here.
Thank you. I'll go first with myself. 6. Michelle, none. Steve, none. BJ Harris, none. Melanie, 1 and 1 and about 4 times, I think. Mindy, 0. Carol, 1, and then. Emily, 1, and Rick, 3 times. That's it. Sarah, you guys return control the lectern with a handshake. Thank you very much. Let's give her another hand for being a new person and taking on that role. If you're sitting next to, if a seasoned person is sitting next to you, usually they're poking you. There's one. Because you don't hear them until you start counting, and then you hear the news and you're, oh, another hand. When they get up to 35 in 5 minutes, that's pretty bad. Our next report is from our timer report and our counting how many times you used the word of the day. BJ Harris.
Thank you, Carol.
Well, today there was much kindness in our presentation. I found that Michelle used kindness 3 times just kicking off the meeting. I thought that was great. Mindy used kindness twice, and Steve used kindness once. So I thought that was excellent. Sarah spoke to us about a table topic, and Sarah spoke for 1 minute and 2 seconds, just right on time there. We then talked about the candy, and that was a little under. That was another table topic that just took 49 seconds. And then finally, we had Steve talking about a table topic about his animals wearing costumes or not, and that was also 1 minute and 45 seconds, just right within the time. So for our speech presentations today, Carol did an excellent job of incorporating kindness into her talk about relationships. I learned a lot about relationships because she used the word kind or kindness 4 times. She gave us so much information that she spoke for 10 minutes and 33 seconds. So the next speech was Steve's, and Steve spoke about I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, and his was 6 minutes and 15 seconds, right on there. And Emily also gave us some great information about the report card analogy with Toastmasters, and that was 5 minutes and 47 seconds. Okay, and then the evaluators, Michelle spoke for Carol, and that was 2 minutes and 24 seconds. And Rick Davis spoke about Steve right on the dot, 2 minutes. And then Melanie gave us a thorough and detailed evaluation about Emily's, and it was an excellent evaluation, but it took 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And the awe counter just spoke for about a half a minute, 30 seconds. All right. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, BJ. Here's your pen. I now will evaluate the evaluators and the meeting. As a general evaluator, I did like your choice of, who did table topics? Melanie. I did like your choice. I like topics that are creative. The one that your husband got in the table topics contest was a bizarre one. They had some good answers, but it threw him. I'm going, oh, we're going to have a really great answer because Rich always comes up with great ideas. And he said, I don't know what I would do to stem the Ebola and keep it out of the United States and keep the people safe here if he was the president of the United States. And I hate those kind of questions, but some other people came up with some good things. So I liked your questions. And one of the things I want you to pay attention, do you see a difference in me doing this or in me doing this? One of the things I like people, when the evaluators come up, they are reading questions out of a manual, and they have a tendency to put our head down. But when you're singing in a choir, you're looking down, your eyes are down, but not your head. Otherwise, your voice wouldn't be traveling out. How many? Oh, okay. And the, I forget what else I was going to say here because we're running out of time. And I did like Rick, your mentioning about the transition in Steve's speech, and Melanie about introverts. I used to think that they didn't know anything. They are thinkers. That's why they're quiet. They're thinkers. And one of the ladies at ACE is an introvert, and she's the life of the party because she knows how to do that. She knows how. And so I appreciate everything, all that we share. Everyone has something to add. I'll turn it back to our Toastmaster and our president.
Thank you, Carol. I'd like a round of applause for both our Toastmaster today, Michelle, and our General Evaluator, Carol. This is going to conclude our TV Toastmasters meeting for Saturday, October 18th, 2014. I encourage those of you looking in, as well as our guests in the studio here, to come back and visit us again. We meet the first Thursday and the third Saturday of each month at Anderson Community Center in the television studio downstairs. The facility is located at 7855 Mile Road. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, November 6th. We will have an open house on Thursday, November 13th. And our next Saturday meeting will be November 22nd, so just before Thanksgiving. This program will be broadcast during the month of November, so we'd like to wish all of you a safe and healthy Thanksgiving. And hopefully some of you will think of coming back and visiting us next month. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting of TV Toastmasters for October 18th, 2014.